Good
There we go.
here? All right, great. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. My name is John Sider. I'm Vice President for Business Development for the Ben Franklin Technology Partners of Central and Northern PA. And just before we get started here with Karen, I want to say a couple of words about Ben Franklin Technology Partners. So the partners were founded in 1982 as one of the first public-private partnerships in the United States. As the charter states, advance technology enterprise in Pennsylvania. That's our mission. There are 4 independent nonprofit economic development organizations funded and accountable to the Commonwealth, each linked to a major research university, in our case, Penn State University, and each managed by a board of directors that must be at least 51% from private industry. While our mission is to advance technology enterprise, our metric is helping innovative companies create high-wage, sustainable, technology-based jobs. When we review an opportunity, we first look at its ability to create these high-wage jobs. Over the years, jobs created by Ben Franklin companies pay wages 36% higher than the non-farm median average for PA. So we at Ben Franklin Technology Partners are best known for our investment funds. We finance emerging technology companies at the very earliest stages with patient capital. We typically make 24 investments a year, totaling $3.5 to $4 million, with half going to new opportunities and half going to follow-on opportunities already in our portfolio. Our goal is that these investments and the progress they finance help de-risk these companies to the point where other investors and financing sources will get involved and take the company the rest of the way to growth. While we are best known for investments, it's important to note that we also have 10 full-time staff that is entirely focused on providing technical assistance to our portfolio companies to augment those small startup teams. We have people dedicated to market research, accounting, and human resources, as well as 4 entrepreneurs in residence that provide strategic and management advice in a variety of areas straight from their own experience with startups and business leadership. This slide shows the other ecosystem infrastructure we provide in private venture capital, prototype development, topical and easily accessible entrepreneurial training, as well as SBIR, STTR grant development. Further, and more to our topic today, we typically run 2 big idea contests a year and 2 of what we call Techcelerator, 10-week entrepreneurial boot camps. The purpose of the Big Idea Contest is to identify idea stage entrepreneurs who haven't yet found an opportunity to bring that idea forward and provide a cash prize so that they enter the ecosystem and develop their concept. Kathy will talk a little bit more about that after our speaker. The Techcelerator combines business model canvas curriculum, expert speakers, one-on-one coaching, pro forma development, market research, and a pitch competition to help entrepreneurs make a go or sometimes no-go decision about business launch or acceleration. So why is Ben Franklin Technology Partners of Central and Northern PA interested in AgeTech? Well, we want to engage our regional entrepreneurs because in the counties of focus for this initiative, the elderly population age 65 and over is 16% higher than Pennsylvania as a whole. If this region was a state, it would rank 3rd in the nation for percentage of elderly adults. Pennsylvania itself has a higher percentage of elderly residents than 41 other states. The unique needs of elderly populations can strain currently available resources in rural healthcare, transportation, and community support. This can lead to increased costs, isolation, and poor quality of life. Innovations in the areas of monitoring, assistive technologies, smart home devices, mobility solutions, wearable devices, and energy efficiency, just to name a few, can significantly ease all of these strains that disproportionately affect rural areas. So these regional entrepreneurs that we want to find, many of them in their communities are experiencing these challenges, some with their own family members. We want to provide a pathway to develop innovations in these areas into businesses. In 2025 and kicking into high gear today, we will dedicate a big idea contest now and a Techcelerator in the second half of the year to this sector. We aspire that these activities generate investment opportunities for us to launch and grow these concepts into AgeTech companies. Put simply, our goal is that the Big Idea Contest will identify entrepreneurs interested in this space. The Techcelerator will help launch those new companies, and our investments will help them grow. So with that, let me get to the most exciting part of today's webinar, our speaker, Karen Etkin. Karen Etkin is the author of The AgeTech Revolution, a book about the intersection of tech and aging, and founder of thegerentechnologist.com, a media platform that covers the global age tech ecosystem and offers age tech education through the Age Tech Academy. Named one of the most influential people in aging by Next Avenue, Ms. Etkin works with startups, big tech companies, elder care providers, public sector organizations, and NGOs on the development and adoption of age tech solutions. Previously, she was the first employee at Intuition Robotics, the startup behind Eli Q, the world's first social robot, designed with and for older adults, and co-founder and vice president of product at Sensei AI, a startup that developed the first and only AI solution for remote care monitoring. She holds an MA in gerontology and a Bachelor of Science in Life Sciences from Ben-Gurion University. So with that, Karen, we are thrilled to have you with us, and we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, John, for this wonderful introduction. And I want to thank both you and Kathy for inviting me to present this important webinar. I am truly honored. So before we dive in, I want to run through the agenda for my presentation real quick. So we will start by talking about, first of all, what age tech even means and why do we need it? What are the underlying trends that make this ecosystem so important in this day and age in 2025? We'll also talk about some examples for age tech solutions that are already available in the market today and look into the future on what age tech could look like 5, 10, or 20 years down the line. And of course, as Kathy said, we will also have time for questions. So if we're asking ourselves what age tech even means, so when we were looking for technology solutions for older adults 20 years ago, what we would find would be similar to what you see on your screen right now. The type of solutions that Kofling and Quinto might call big, beige, and boring. Now, if we fast forward to the year 2025, we have many more technological solutions at our disposal that utilize the most cutting edge technology out there to tackle the various challenges of aging. And that could not have been possible if we would not be including older adults and other stakeholders in the design process. Which brings me to how I like to define age tech, which is technology that's not just designed to tackle the challenges of aging, but it does so by including older adults in the process. I believe that is an integral part of the definition. Now, if you walk down the street and ask people what this term even means and what technology for aging could look like, most people would either think it's accessibility tech or it's digital health solutions. And while yes, we have plenty of digital health solutions and plenty of accessibility tech solutions within the age tech space, we also have a lot of white space in the middle for solutions that are designed for healthy and active older adults close to retirement or just after retirement who are interested in lifelong learning or leisure or extending their wealth span. And when I look at the ecosystem as a whole, we publish an annual market map each and every year on the Geron Technologist. When we look at the startup landscape of all the hundreds or probably thousands of startups globally who use technology for the benefit of older adults, we see that it is a really diverse ecosystem. And it's not just startups. We also have big tech companies, the biggest tech companies in the world, most notably Amazon and Apple, dipping their toes into the space and creating offerings specifically for the older population. We also have dedicated funds and accelerators. So right now we are with Ben Franklin Tech Partners, which is a new AgeTech accelerator. And we also have accelerators or programs from the AARP. We have the AgeTech Capital Fund, newly funded this year, that's also collaborating with the AARP. We have accelerators in Europe, in Latin America, and in Canada. Wherever you go on the globe, we have dedicated funds and accelerators specializing in the AgeTech ecosystem. When Crunchbase looks at the funding landscape, we see that year over year, this ecosystem is getting hundreds of millions of dollars of VC funding. And with this amount of funding, we can't attribute all of that to dedicated AgeTech funds because despite the fact that we have them, it's still only a handful of funds. We also have the biggest venture capital funds in the world who are interested in this ecosystem and are investing and leading huge rounds of funding in unicorn startups because they believe that this is the future. Now, which brings us to the question, why? Why do we even need to address the needs of the aging population? Don't we just develop technology for everyone and older adults can just pick up on what works for them? Well, there are various reasons for that. So the first reason would obviously be the increase in life expectancy. We are in the middle of an unprecedented demographic shift. Never before in human history have we had so many people reach old age, well into their 80s and sometimes 90s in OECD countries. In fact, the population over the age of 60 is growing faster than any other age group. And pretty soon we'll have more than 2 billion people over the age of 60 living on the face of the earth. And that happens simultaneously with a decrease in birth rates. So people are having fewer babies. And when we look at the population pyramid, we see that the base of the population pyramid, which represents young people, is shrinking. And the top of the pyramid, which represents old people, is widening, which means that in a few years, in many countries, including the United States, we'll have more people over the age of 65 than people under the age of 18. So that impacts us on the macro level. So in terms of like the economic implications, we have fewer people who are allowed to participate in the workforce. And I say allowed because we obviously don't allow children to participate in the workforce. But unfortunately, we also force older adults out of the workforce. In many countries, we still have forced retirement practices, which dents the economy. And in some countries like Japan, it impacts the growth of their GDP. And on the micro level, in our families, the care gap is growing. So in our families, when we look to our left and to our right, we have fewer siblings to help care for our aging parents. So it impacts our families, it impacts the economy. It also creates a global care shortage. So not everyone who grows old needs care, but for more and more people who do need care, there are fewer and fewer caregivers available, and that is a global crisis. Now, you could say, and that's what people might say if you just ask a random person on the street, let's just encourage everyone to move into a senior living so we can care for everyone efficiently under one roof. But the reality is that most older adults prefer to age in place, to stay in their home of choice for as long as they live. And the consensus among professionals, elder care professionals, I'm a gerontologist, by the way, the consensus is that that is the best thing for most people. Which brings us to the realization that technology is the only scalable solution that we have if we want to let people live their best lives for the rest of their lives, despite the physical and cognitive challenges that naturally occur as people grow older. Now, another reason why suddenly we have so many VCs and so many tech companies who care about the needs of older adults and want to develop technology for them is the longevity economy. So it is estimated that, according to estimations, the total size of the economy driven by the needs of 50-plus-year-olds globally will reach around $65 trillion by 2050. So that is a huge number. Just to compare, if we look at the economies of the United States and China, which are the largest on Earth, they were around between $15 to $20 million in 2020, and the longevity economy in 2020 was somewhere in the middle. And that happens, the demographic shift and the economic shift that happens simultaneously with digital transformation that our society is going through. So we have older adults using technology, spending hundreds of millions of dollars annually on technology. Even in this day and age, the most recent survey from AARP showed us that older adults still spend hundreds of dollars on technology despite that economy. However, they also struggle sometimes with new devices. And there's also a digital divide because not everyone has access to computers and even to basic internet infrastructure. So in the United States of America, there are still around 20 million older Americans who don't have broadband access at home. And it's either because they can't afford it or because the infrastructure just isn't there. And that obviously impacts rural areas more. So what are some examples for AgeTech solutions that are available in the market today? Well, we have robots, of course, like AgeTech, which is a robot that I had the honor and the privilege of participating in building, which is a social robot designed to help older adults stay connected. And we also have a wide variety of fall prevention solutions. So we have in the newest iPhones a gait assessment feature that lets you know if your walking steadiness score has changed. And if so, you should probably consult a professional. There are fall detection features on Apple Watches as well. And there are also lamps or all types of technology that can be implemented in someone's home to really help people detect falls and analyze their movements and daily movement patterns to let them know if their movement patterns have changed and if they are at an increased risk of falling down. We also have leisure solutions that allow people to travel the world from the comfort of their own home, and fintech apps that either help people track their bank account for scams and fraud and alert the person or alert the family caregiver, or apps that allow people to get an estimate of their retirement score. So can they retire, when they can retire, and what they can do to make their retirement savings last longer. Now, if we are to look into the future and try to predict what AgeTech could look like 5, 10, or 20 years from now, well, first of all, I have to say that this is getting harder and with each and every day because technology is advancing so rapidly. But you could already say that generative AI will play a huge role in all of our futures. So the first and most obvious solution, which some startups are already doing with generative AI, is to use them in all sorts of solutions for loneliness and social isolation. So AgeTech, the robot that I had the honor and the privilege of participating in building, that also includes generative AI as something that helps the robot just have better conversations. We also see like metaverse solutions. So it's not unlikely that in the future, we could have a more immersive experience than Zoom. So something that might feel like a holodeck, or using VR goggles, feeling like you're in the room with something, which again could go a long way towards tackling loneliness and social isolation. Autonomous vehicles are already available in some markets, which hopefully could help reduce motor vehicle crashes. And that, I mean, we've been told that it would be widely available in 2025, and here we are. But it is already an option in some markets. And last but not least, our homes will undoubtedly become smarter. So right now we have service robots in our homes, like the iRobot, who can vacuum and mop. But there is really no reason why you couldn't have sensors embedded in the walls and having our homes predict what we need and provide it for us whenever we need it. Like maybe cook a meal. Who knows? If you have any questions, we will have a few minutes for questions after Kathy. And you also are more than welcome to reach out to me. That's my website, my LinkedIn, and we also have a YouTube channel. And if you want more links, we have a QR code with links to all of the other stuff. Thank you so much for listening.
Karen, that was terrific. Thank you so much. So I will be 77 years old in 2050, hoping I make it. So I will be part of that $65 trillion market, and have been saving money my whole life. So I plan to spend it. So, hey, entrepreneurs, I'm part of the market here. So Karen, thank you so much. That was terrific. Also interested in that kitchen robot. That could be great for all age groups. Kathy, I want to turn it over to you at this point to talk specifically about the Big Idea Contest and what people ought to know about that.
Well, thank you very much, John, and Karen. Thank you so much too. Great information, and we're very excited about it. We'll kind of talk more about it as we go through the contest details. So, as you know, we have a $35,000 cash prize that you can have the opportunity to win up to that amount. We also have a $2,500 People's Choice Award. And how does that work? Well, the finalists will do videos, and they will just little short videos, sort of like elevator pitches that talk about their idea and their business, and how it can make an impact in the lives of seniors and making their lives easier. So that is the People's Choice, that you invite people to the finale, which will be virtual, and people can sign in, and they actually have an opportunity to vote themselves. So it's kind of cool because it gets a lot of interaction, but you kind of get your friends and family involved too. You also have the opportunity to pitch your business concept to our portfolio managers in our group to win possible $10,000 seed grant. You get a spot in our Business Accelerator program, which gives you an opportunity to really dive deep into your business idea and how you can best bring it to life and bring it to market. And then we also have our business transformations group, which helps in our business mentoring and support. So you will get one-on-one coaching as a finalist to help you prepare your pitch and in your investment summary, and get your idea formalized. And so Kieran talked about some of the different ideas that we have, and we have different categories that I think that your idea might fit into, which might be assistive mobility tech, which is tools or foster independence, things like that. Kieran was talking about robots, or things that might indicate that you have potential for falling, that type of thing. And those can also be things that are smart home solutions for your safety and convenience. Things that can be in senior living space, that can be in the home, they could be where you're working, but they could also be in a senior living facility. And then we have the monitoring, so you can have your doctor, the hospitals, or different caregivers that can monitor your health, but you can also monitor it yourself. So this gives you some capability to track and monitor and receive alerts and indicators if things are okay. But there's also food and beverage. There's so much that can be done in the nutritious areas in terms of what we're growing, the agriculture, the the food, the products that we consume, those types of things that can help seniors and make their life, improve their life and make an impact on their life and make it easier. So how do you qualify? Okay, so we have a 32 county footprint. That's our exact footprint for the business applicants. So do you have to be in that county now? Well, someone will have to start their business in one of these counties in Pennsylvania. So we will ask you to formalize your business once you're a finalist, if you haven't already. You have to be 18 years or older, a citizen of the US, or a lawful permanent resident. If you plan to commercialize, you will have to plan to commercialize your innovation, which means that you will have to become a business, and you will you cannot have more than $1 million in annual sales, and if you do, congratulations. And we also want to make sure that you have not been a prior winner of one of our big idea contests or one of our tech accelerators. If you've received a cash prize, now if you haven't received a cash prize, you've gone through the process or you've applied, doesn't matter, you can still apply and you would still qualify. But if you've received a cash prize, then you would not be eligible. And the key dates here that I want everybody to understand, if you're an applicant, that you want to get your application in before 11:59 p.m. on March 27th. And when you go to the site, the Ben Franklin Big Idea landing page, there's a button there, and what you do is you click that button and you are applying or you're requesting an application. So you've basically create an account, and once you do that, then you receive the application, and you can work on that, you can save it, you can come back and edit it, that type of thing, but you have to make sure you save it. And I think you can download it too if you want to. Finalists will also be selected on April 4th. So that is our day that we will, we have reviewers that will go through and make a final selection, and you will be notified if you're a winner. And then we have the big idea, the finale, the pitch, which is May 15th, and we're very excited about that. It will be virtual. You invite your friends and family. We have judges that have experience in this category, and we will have people that understand marketing, but also the investment side. And you will during the process from being notified to the pitch, you will have had a lot of time to practice and develop your pitch, as well as work with the coaches on that too. So, judging criteria, innovation. We want to make sure that you have some. So these are kind of big ideas that are happening within the space. There's some creativity, and you're solving a problem. We also want to know, what is the management skill sets? What is your team? Do you have a team? You don't have to have a huge team, but do you have the right people in place that can help you move your idea forward and do it with a lot of confidence, because you have the right advisors, the right partners, and people working with you. Also, impact, potential for job creation. Is your idea going to be scalable enough that it will create some jobs, some taxable revenue, but make a difference in the community and in the space? And then also market opportunity. Are you solving a real problem? There's lots of ideas and so many people, they just don't come to fruition. So if you're not sure, just go ahead and give it a shot. But you want to make sure that your idea is well thought out, and that there is a potential for commercialization, and that you will, we try to, the judges will try to look at to see if there's ability for it to scale and grow. So the finale again is on May 15th, 2025 to a panel of judges. And we encourage you, you're going to get lots of support and help. And we encourage, just give it a shot. If you have some questions, I'm happy to answer them. Karen is happy, and so is John, but we are very interested in your thoughts and what you might be thinking about the contest. So go to cnp.benfranklin.org/big idea, and all this information, including a link to the recording, will be there. So that's it. And I'm going to stop my share. And we do have a couple of questions. I'm going to go ahead and facilitate this, and then if John and Kieran can, obviously, I can toss it over to you if it's obvious, but if you have answers to build on it, please add your comments. Good morning. This is from Virginia. I'm a product designer, and these are people just saying hello. Let me get down. Would we be able to get the slide deck? Kieran, are we sharing your slide deck?
We're sharing the video for the whole thing.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, you will get the video, the recording to that. So yeah, you do. Here's a question from Casey Lucas, Zoom. AgeTech, or does this AgeTech have to be for the older population? Can it be up and coming professional generation?
Yeah, so Kathy, I might take that. We are broadly focused on improving the lives of older adults. So the way that we're defining that is that the product's primary market would be senior adults, but if senior adults would be a major part of the market, we would also consider that. So if it has multiple applications for different age groups, and senior adults would be a major part of that market, I think we would be happy to take a look at that application. But if it's primarily for younger adults, probably not a fit for this contest.
Okay. And someone sent me a question via my email saying, if I have some property in one of the counties, and, would we be eligible for the contest if we submitted, even though they're not living in that county? And my understanding is that as long as you have a address that you would be operating your business out of, then you would be eligible. Am I correct, Don?
Yeah, what I would add to that is, so this is funded by Pennsylvania Economic Development Funds. So what we're looking for is for the business impact to be in Pennsylvania, and specifically in the 32 county region that we're talking about. I think there's room if you live somewhere else, but the business is going to launch and grow within the region and have an economic impact there. I think that I would definitely apply in that situation.
Okay. And then also, I had a question for Kieran. So, Kieran, you were at CES, and you've been to some of these other contests. What is the overall vibe in terms of the ideas that are being presented and the innovations?
So I didn't get to physically attend CES this year, but I do make a point of reviewing every news article from the tech news about CES that mentions products for the aging population. And the thing that stood out to me the most is the diversity of solutions. So, I mean, it is a consumer electronics show, so most software startups don't come to present there. But if we look at robotics and mobility solutions and sensors and smart homes, there is such a wide variety of solutions that benefit the older population. And I think it's just a wonderful place for startups to be. And we also have community organizations like the ARP's AgeTech Collaborative, who facilitate the participations of startups in that show, which is hugely important for the entire ecosystem.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. I think, and we're not looking just for software. We want devices too. So anything, again, that I think makes a difference. We have Elizabeth asking if she said, today we're hearing about very high tech. And I know it seems like high tech, high science, but she wants to know, is there an opportunity to submit low tech options? And, today, everything is tech enabled, right? I mean, no matter how you develop it, it could be a food, but the technical aspects of developing and creating those foods are very technical. So, I think you need to take a look at what you're offering and how you present it. I mean, I look at it as tech enablement, right? John, what do you think?
Yeah, so I would encourage applications. Again, if your product or service is going to impact and improve the quality of life for older adults, and that's what you're trying to do with your idea, then we want to see that application and we want to give it full consideration. So we don't expect it to be all, AI robots and, semiconductor kinds of things. So we're happy to look at low tech as long as the impact will be for older adults.
Right. How about you, Kieran? Anything to add to that?
I think that John hit the nail on the head.
Okay, good. Jajira is asking, don't currently have a team, but an idea. Is that the right place to start? Yeah, if you have a big idea that you think is an innovative idea, we will start there. As you begin to fill out the application, it's asking you questions about the market opportunity and, the problem that you're solving and those types of things. So it really forces you to get your head into thinking about what it is as a product and what you might have to think about in terms of bringing it to market. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a product yet. You might be getting some help to prototype it. So, and then Debbie says, any thoughts on how dementia fits into the needs of older adults and their caregivers, and how AgeTech products that address this area? And I know, Kieran, this is a spot for you because you have a lot of experience and knowledge in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Debbie. So I am familiar with Debbie's startup, and I do think there is huge opportunity in the dementia space. It's not just a $1 trillion opportunity economically, but there is also a huge need for solutions that really help people with dementia and their caregivers, especially sometimes their caregivers, because it is it's a long disease, and it's everyone suffers, the whole family. So there's a huge need for a solution. So.
Yeah, if anybody's got some ideas for that, that would be pretty awesome. So, I think as we are wrapping this up, I want to people to think about okay, you might already have a product or a prototype that you're working on, or again, it might just be an idea. And if that's the case, bring it on, because, as the teams look at the ideas that are in the applications that are coming in, you are now connected with our ecosystem. You've made connections with Ben Franklin, and we are constantly looking for people that have ideas that will make a difference. So we did get another question from Douglas. My idea is a computer program. Do you think it will be difficult to show it virtually with my laptop? I haven't done that before. Well, you have to write about your idea as a business application in the application process, and when you pitch, you can do slides. We typically don't bring in technology to demonstrate, only because we have judges that are looking at this in a virtual environment. but I think we can take a look at how that might work for having people take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, we have people doing software all the time. So it's just a matter of, can you illustrate it in a pitch deck when you compete for the prize? And we can certainly help do that.
Yeah, and our team, you know, you'll get your coaching, and they'll work with you on that as well too, you know, on how to present that information. But yeah. So if there's anything else, if anybody else has some questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am you know, you've received, most of the applicants have received emails from us, but our information is on the website, and you will get a link to this recording, and it will also be linked from the contest landing page. But again, so delighted to have you part of our webinar today. So delighted to have Kieran, and thank you, John, for facilitating this, and look forward to getting some great ideas and some inspiring solutions. So everyone, have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you, Karen, so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Karen's information will be there too. So if you want to follow the gerontologist or get her book, The AgeTech Revolution, I highly recommend that.
Thank you, Kathy.
I gotta stop my recording. So I'm gonna end it. See y'all.